What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Now, the Detroit Lions just played their third preseason game and played their final preseason game of the 2021 season. Unfortunately, they did end up losing to the Indianapolis Colts by a score of 27-17. However, regardless of the loss, regardless of the final outcome on the scoreboard, the Detroit Lions, I felt, were a very good football team in this game. They were very competitive. They led for a majority of the football game, and in many cases, in many standards of the game, they were the better football team. Now, just like every other week of preseason, just like every other game the Detroit Lions have played and will play this season, we are going to go over the Detroit Lions performances, some of the standout players, some of the takeaways from the game, and really try to, just go over this game, get the biggest takeaways, and get kind of the biggest overview of week 3 of the preseason for this Detroit Lions as they move forward into the regular season. Now, before we get into the video, before we start talking about it, if you're new to the channel and you're enjoying the content, please consider liking the videos and subscribe to the channel. It takes just 2 seconds out of you to do so. It is quick, it is free, and it is incredibly easy to do, and you would be helping the channel out more than you could possibly know. So if you could do that, take those 2 seconds to like and subscribe. I'd be incredibly appreciative for it. But with all of that being said, and without any further ado, let's get right into taking a look at week 3 of Detroit Lions preseason.
So look at Anthony Ryder from South Lyon, Michigan, recently selected as the Lions 2020 Fan of the Year. He has a passion about sports broadcasting.
With the 112th selection in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver, USC. One pride, baby! Yeah! Now, week 3 for the Detroit Lions was not much of a starters experience, I'm going to say. The starters did not play very many snaps, and many of the starters did not play any snaps. I believe Penei Sewell and Quintez Cephus were the only 2 players projected to be in the starting 11 for the Detroit Lions this season that actually ended up playing any significant snaps or any significant time with the first-string offense in week 3. Penei Sewell, obviously being a rookie who has struggled in his first 2 games, did get a lot of time, did get a lot of snaps, and like the other 2 preseason games, he had his ups and downs, had some good plays and had some bad plays, and overall, again, just kind of a very similar takeaway from the previous 2 weeks. And Quintez Cephus, a guy that has been in and out of the lineup with injury throughout the offseason and throughout the preseason, also got a lot of time. They just kind of wanted to get him on the field, see what he could do, and kind of get him caught up to NFL speed a week or 2 before the actual NFL season, right? They wanted to get him a little bit of game experience, a little bit of game time in 2021 before the games actually counted. So that's why Quintez Cephus played, but the rest of the starters, Goff, Swift, the rest of the offensive line, the rest of the receiver core, Hawkinson, like the rest of the preseason games, did not play any significant snaps, if they played any snaps at all. Now, Tim Boyle in week 3 was a better quarterback. He left the game early with injury. I believe he injured his thumb. I don't know if he broke it, or I don't know what exactly the injury is, but he did have a thumb injury, forcing him to leave the game at the end of the first quarter. However, when he was in the game, he was much better this week. He went 7 for 9 for 53 yards and a touchdown, led the first scoring drive of the preseason for himself. Still had a couple bad throws, still had a couple of decisions, had a couple plays where I was like, that's not great. I don't want to see that out of him, but he was far better in week 3, which is good for him because David Blau, I felt like, was worse in week 3, going just 13 for 21 for 117 yards, had throwing an interception, 0 touchdowns, and taking 2 sacks. He did not have a very good end of the game. He threw a pick that really shifted the momentum of the game and kind of led to the Colts coming back into the game and eventually taking the victory overall. I didn't think David Blau was horrible, but he was definitely regressing and definitely was not as good or as efficient, and didn't lead the offense in the same way that he had done the previous 2 weeks. Jermar Jefferson got a lot of time this week, the 7th round running back out of Oregon State. He had 11 carries for 43 yards and looked really, really good. He had a really nice hurdle. Just overall, I thought Jermar played a really solid game and kind of showed exactly what his role is going to be and what he could add to this Lions team, right? He's not maybe going to break off an 80-yard touchdown every single time. He might not average, 6-7 yards a carry like he did in college, but he's going to be an efficient running back. He's going to get you yards. If you need him to carry for a time or 2, he's going to get you in the positive direction. And overall, I thought Jermar Jefferson played his best game of the preseason in the 3rd game, and I thought he's finally looking to be a little bit more healthy and actually got a decent workload, getting double-digit carries for the first time in the preseason. Now, Godwin Igwebuike did get a touchdown in this game, and Dedrick Mills averaged 5.3 yards per yards per carry in this game. Both of them I thought played very well, although I thought Dedrick Mills had a really good game, having 4 receptions for 46 yards on top of his rushing production. Quintez Cephas was the second leading receiver in this game, having 3 receptions for 35 yards, but also did catch that touchdown. Overall, I thought the offense was good. I didn't think they were great. Overall, I thought the offense was, efficient for the most part. The first half was definitely better than the second half. Tim Boyle, I thought, led the offense very well to a very good, very seamlessly, very easy seemingly touchdown. A very easy touchdown drive to start the game. The Lions started off the game incredibly strong, and the Lions looked good coming out. Yeah, they sputtered a little bit at the end, and yes, they ended up losing this game overall by 10 points, but the game was not that far out of hand, and I actually, as I said in the beginning, felt like the Detroit Lions were a better football team for a majority of that football game as well. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, Mike Ford, in my opinion, was the defensive player of the game. He had 3 tackles, 2 passes defended, but he was much more impactful than that. He was everywhere on the field. He was by far the best defensive back for the Detroit Lions secondary. He played phenomenally. Corn Elder did come up with the first interception and the first turnover, I believe, of the preseason, which was really good to see. It was his first time hitting the field. It was the first time playing in a Detroit Lions uniform. He played very well. He had a couple passes defended, and he had an interception, which was really good to see. AJ Parker yet again had a very good day, having 2 tackles and a defended pass. The secondary on the day had 6 batted passes, had 6 passes that they were able to break up and came away with an interception. The secondary looked phenomenal. Anthony Pittman and Derek Barnes, although they did not show up on the stat sheet, I thought played very good football in their own right. And overall, I thought it was a very strong performance. The Detroit Lions came out very strong. They started incredibly well. They were a little slow to finish, yes, but they did hold the Colts to 9 points in the first 3 quarters. They got a lot of pressure. They didn't finish. They didn't get the sacks, but they did get a lot of pressure on the quarterback, forced the quarterbacks to move, forced the quarterbacks out of the pockets, and that's the first step to getting those sacks. And like I said, the Lions need to finish those sacks. They need to get the quarterback on the ground versus just getting him moving out of the pocket, whether that be with a quarterback spy, whether that be with, maybe you play a little bit more zone, so more eyes are on the quarterback and you can corral. I don't know what Aaron Glenn is going to do, but he has to make an adjustment so that we don't just get pressure, but we get sacks on the quarterback. The Lions have to finish those plays, but the pressures were really encouraging to see. Again, the secondary got a lot of hands on the football. The secondary had a lot of batted passes, came away with an interception, looked really good, and some of that did come off the pressure. The pressure did force a couple errant throws, did force a couple throws that, were either a little early or, just were a little off because of the pressure, and that did allow the secondary, again, to look better, to get their hands on the football, and again, come away with an interception and 6 batted passes. The offense had ups and downs, again, touchdown drive early, David Blau came in, it kind of stalled out. It wasn't a great performance by David Blau. It wasn't a great performance all around by the Detroit Lions offense, but again, Tim Boyle and the offense that he led, it looked really good, and I think if Tim Boyle had stayed healthy, the Lions probably put up a few more points in the first half, and maybe they hold on for the victory, but again, the score at the end isn't really what's important here. Zane Gonzalez is a player that has kind of had a little bit of criticism. Zane Gonzalez, obviously the kicker that was just signed a couple of weeks ago, and is competing with Randy Bullock for that kicking spot. He was 1 for 1 on field goals and 2 for 2 on extra points. It sounds like he was kind of taking the lead a little bit in practice over the past week, and he did actually get the start and did get all of the kicking time in week 3, and again, was 100%. Didn't miss a kick, didn't miss a field goal, nor did he miss an extra point. Overall, it was just really good from Zane Gonzalez, and I think he might actually end up beating out Randy Bullock for that starting kicker position. Overall, good start to the game, very disappointing ending, but just like the Detroit Lions preseason, that kind of sums it up as a whole. The Lions had a lot of good. The Lions had a ton of good in this game, and they had more good plays than bad plays. They were a better football team than the Indianapolis Colts for 3.5 quarters. They were playing better football than the Colts for 3 quarters. They outcoached the Indianapolis Colts for 3 quarters. The players outplayed the Indianapolis Colts for 3.5 quarters. Yes, the Lions may have lost. Yes, the Detroit Lions may have faced their biggest deficit and may have lost by the most points in week 3, but they were right in the game. They led for 3 quarters. They held the Colts to 9 points in 3 quarters, and it's that final quarter that needs to be fixed. And I'm not trying to sweep it under the rug. I'm not trying to say yeah, that doesn't need to be fixed. I'm not trying to say, yeah, that doesn't matter, because it does. It does. The Lions need to finish these games strong. The Lions need to finish these games. They need to, obviously they need to walk out with a victory when they hold that big of a lead at halftime, and even that big of a lead going into the 4th quarter. But again, there's more good than bad. There's so much good to look at in this game that you can look at and say, this is promising. This is going to help us for the future. This is why we're going to win football games. This is going to be why the Detroit Lions are successful in 2021. And again, the Lions had more of those plays than plays that make you question, plays that make you say, oh, that's going to be a bad spot. Ooh, that's going to be a question mark for the 2021 season. That's going to be what loses Lions games. That's going to be what prevents them from being a successful football team in 2021. Those plays were there, for sure. Those plays were there. There was negative just like there was positive, but just like the rest of the regular season, or just like the rest of the preseason, the Detroit Lions were a good football team. They were competitive, they were tough, they were fast, they looked very confident, especially on the defensive side of the football, and that is without, again, a majority of their starters. And overall, I thought the Lions were a good football team. I thought they played a very good game, and although the score may not indicate it, I thought the Detroit Lions were the better football team for a majority of that game. Now, with all that being said, that is all for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think about this preseason game. Let me know what your biggest takeaways were from the preseason overall, but especially from week 3 of the preseason. I'd be very curious to what you guys had to say about it, but with all that being said, and without any further ado, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, and as always, go Lions.